Hayley Catherine Rose. Vivian Mills was born on April 18, 1946, in London, England. Raised in a family deeply entrenched in the arts, her father was the esteemed British actor John Mills, and her mother, Mary Hayley Bell, was a playwright and novelist. With such rich artistic roots, it was no surprise that Hayley developed a passion for the performing arts early on. Her childhood was filled with creativity and cultural exposure, shaping her natural talents and helping her transition from a young girl in a renowned family to a Hollywood icon. As a child, she was drawn to the stage, inspired by her father's career, and soon began to showcase her acting skills in various forms, laying the groundwork for what would become an illustrious career. The early years of Hollywood fame Mills made her film debut in 1959 at just 11 years old in Tiger Bay, a performance that captured the attention of critics and audiences alike. Her portrayal was so compelling that she won the BAFTA Award for Most Promising Newcomer, setting the stage for a promising career. It wasn't long before she became a household name, particularly after her Disney films cemented her place as a beloved star. In 1960, she starred in Pollyanna, playing the titular character and embodying hope, optimism, and youthful charm. This film marked her as the quintessential Disney star of the era, but it was The Parent Trap, 1961, that truly propelled her to international stardom. In this film, Mills demonstrated her remarkable talent by playing twin sisters who are separated at birth and reunite to bring their parents back together. Iconic Disney roles and their lasting impact. The 1960s saw Mills becoming one of the brightest stars at Disney, appearing in a string of successful films. After The Parent Trap, she starred in Search of the Castaways, 1962, and Summer Magic, 1963, which further solidified her reputation as a versatile actress who could effortlessly balance humor, charm, and depth. These roles helped her carve out a place as a dependable and likable leading lady, especially in family-oriented films. Her performances were praised for their emotional authenticity, and her radiant presence captured the hearts of audience around the world. Mills became an icon for young girls, offering them a role model who was both relatable and aspirational. However, as she transitioned from child star to adult actress, she faced new challenges that would shape her future choices. Navigating the challenges of growing up in the spotlight. As with many child stars, Hayley Mills faced the difficult transition from being a young starlet to an adult actress. The pressures of growing up in the public eye while maintaining a career were immense. While she was beloved by fans, Mills found it increasingly hard to reconcile her personal growth with the expectations placed on her by the industry. As a teenager, she was under constant scrutiny, expected to remain perfect and flawless in her public persona. During this time, Mills worked on several projects, including The Trouble with Angels, 1966, which marked her first significant post-Disney role. This film showed her ability to handle more mature material, but behind the scenes, the demands of her career were beginning to take their toll. She was balancing the pressures of fame, professional commitments, and personal development. A new chapter, expanding her horizons. In the 1980s, Hayley Mills began to step away from the typecasting that had defined her early career, taking on more challenging and diverse roles. She starred in the television adaptation of The Flame Trees of Thika, 1981, a lush period drama that showcased her ability to portray more complex characters. This role marked a significant turning point in her career, as it demonstrated her growth as an actress, capable of handling deep emotional material. Mills continued to explore a variety of roles in television and film, proving her adaptability and broadening her scope as an artist. She also ventured into the theater, where she was able to fully embrace the depth and nuance of her craft. This period marked a time of professional evolution, as Mills began to distance herself from her Disney roots and emerge as a respected figure in the industry. The family way and personal growth. In 1966, during the filming of The Family Way, Mills entered into a significant personal and professional relationship with the director Roy Bolting. The two, despite a notable age difference of over 3 decades, formed a bond that transcended their professional lives. They eventually married in 1971, a union that merged both their personal and creative worlds. Their relationship resulted in the birth of their son, Crispian Mills, in 1973, who later became the lead singer of the rock band Kula Shaker. Although their marriage ended in divorce in 1977, Mills continued to balance her personal and professional lives with resilience. Her experience with Bolting and their creative partnership shaped her understanding of both relationships and work. This chapter of her life also helped Mills navigate future relationships with greater clarity and emotional maturity. The Parent Trap, A Golden Era, and the Pressure of Perfection. In the early 1960s, Hayley Mills's career was skyrocketing, and the film The Parent Trap became one of her most iconic roles. Yet for all its success and the joy it brought to audiences, this period was not without its emotional struggles for Mills. The pressures of being a Disney superstar weighed heavily on her, especially at just 14 years old. While the world saw her as the bright and charming twin sister characters in The Parent Trap, Mills was contending with the personal strain of being thrust into the public eye at such a tender age. The constant demand for perfection, the non-stop work schedule, and the relentless pressure to live up to the expectations of her fans and Disney executives took an emotional toll. This period of her life, while filled with career highlights, also left Mills feeling lost in the whirlwind of fame, overwhelmed by the rapid pace and intensity of her success. The 1961 episode that still haunts her, among all the highlights of her early career, one particular episode filmed in 1961 stands out as something Hayley Mills has refused to revisit. This episode, part of a lesser-known television appearance she made during the height of her fame, holds a deep emotional weight for her. At the time, Mills was juggling multiple projects, including her film commitments, promotional tours, and interviews. She recalls being physically and emotionally drained during this period, constantly in motion with little time to rest or recharge. In interviews, Mills has spoken candidly about how she was struggling with anxiety, exhaustion, and the pressures of stardom. Despite her outward charm and vibrant performances, she felt lost inside the system, disconnected from the young girl who had started her career with such natural enthusiasm. A moment of vulnerability and insecurity. What made this particular episode so difficult for Mills to watch is the emotional state she was in when it was filmed. At just 14 years old, she was already feeling the weight of expectations, and her performance during the episode felt like a reflection of her internal struggle. She's admitted that she felt unprepared for the emotional depth the script demanded, and that she was overwhelmed by the weight of the character's nuances. Looking at herself in the stills from that episode, she can see the exhaustion in her eyes, a stark contrast to the bright and energetic persona she was known for. For Mills, revisiting that episode would mean confronting a vulnerable moment in her teenage life, one that encapsulated the insecurity she felt at the time about her abilities and worth as an actress. The contrast with The Parent Trap. What makes this particular episode even more difficult for Hayley Mills to watch is the contrast with her work on The Parent Trap. While the 1961 television appearance showed her at a low point, The Parent Trap captured her at her most vibrant and charming. Mills played twin sisters who, through their resourcefulness, reunite their estranged parents. The film showcased her versatility as an actress, and she was lauded for her remarkable ability to portray two very different characters with ease and charm. In contrast to the tired and anxious young woman in the television episode, Mills in The Parent Trap was radiant, full of energy, and seamlessly brought her characters to life. The stark contrast between these two performances highlights just how much pressure Mills was under and how she was forced to grow up quickly under the spotlight. Refusing to relive the past years have passed since that difficult period in her life. But Hayley Mills still refuses to watch the 1961 episode that remains a painful reminder of her teenage struggles. While she acknowledges the importance of this moment in her career, she chooses not to revisit it, preferring to keep it as a private memory. In interviews, she has expressed a quiet finality in her refusal, understanding that some chapters of her life are best left in the past. Mills sees the episode as a snapshot of a time when she was unsure of herself, overwhelmed by the demands of fame, and struggling with the challenges of growing up in the public eye. As she has said, some things don't need to be relived. To her, this episode represents a vulnerable moment in her journey, one that she doesn't want to turn into a nostalgic curiosity or point of public fascination. A legacy, defined by grace and resilience. Hayley Mills' career has spanned decades, and she has earned a place as one of the most beloved figures in Hollywood history. From her early roles in Disney classics to her later work in theater and television, Mills has proven time and again that she is a talented and versatile actress. Her ability to transition from child star to respected adult performer has inspired countless actors, and her legacy is one of grace, resilience, and artistic growth. While she chooses not to revisit certain